Alright, y'all. Hey, good afternoon. Or good night, because it's 10:16 where I'm at. So, of course, I am back with another true crime ASMR. And y'all know, y'all like my family, so I can never, ever finish watching the whole thing. Like, I have to unfold this shit raw and uncut with y'all. And today I'm at. So, special shout out to the LBGTQ, I think that's what it's called, community. I'm gonna just say this real quick before I even start showing my emotions. So, shout out to Naturally ASMR, or Naturally Kawaii ASMR. Kawaii means cute. Y'all should go watch her channel because it's very soothing. Shakira. Your inaudible whispers are on there. I tried to tag you the other day, but YouTube didn't let me. You should head over there ASAP because you like that. Her channel was good. Also, ASMR Jazz. I love finding low-fi channels, But anyway, I just had to get that out of the way. But let me say this disclaimer. I shouted out Naturally because she told me about my cursing. And you know what? It is time for me to just actually try it. But I'm not making no promises. But I am trying it because, on my walk, that's like the last thing that I want to achieve because that's the hardest thing for me. But anyway, I said this to say I like gay men. I love punks. I call them punks. That's just what it is. I love them. If I can have them as friends over females, I would pick them. Yes, they are messy, but I just love me a good punk. Like, that's just what it is. Now, what I don't respect are DL men. It makes my skin crawl. It pisses me off. It's nasty to me. It's weird and I don't respect it, and it makes these things hurt. Like, I hate them very much with a passion. Don't want to really just too much on hate, not hate them for real. Like, I want to do something bad to them, but just like, it's nothing wrong with not telling your business, but I don't dislike those kind. I dislike the kinds that walk around and act like they the man of the house or man of the century or thug of the year, whatever. And then they're like, fuck it, forget gay people. I don't like him though, sitting by me the whole time. Like, he likes men. That's the ones that I don't like, the ones that go around and bashing, disrespecting the community like they not part of it. So before I tell this story about Miss Jaylee, real name Jimmy, he is a guy, but he likes men, so we're gonna address him and be respectful as Jaylee, R.I.P. to him. But I'm like 30 minutes into this story and I'm just already mad because this man that did this is just, I hate delusional people. I hate delusional families. I hate all that. Like, I get that's your child. I get it's your brother, your son. But right is right, wrong is wrong. And like, sometimes if you don't say nothing, if you can't say the right thing, don't say nothing. Cause I'm not going this hard behind nobody that's sick like this. Like, it's no explanation. She messaged him back around 7 a.m. She didn't receive no response or no phone calls. So July 8th is when. That's good that happened on July 8th for the simple fact, like, she knew something was immediately wrong with her child because he did not, he wasn't responding, let alone it probably been another day. She probably wouldn't have been as worried, but she knows her child is going to respond and call for her birthday, and he didn't. So she said she continued her plans or whatever she was moving for her, but then she just kept getting the feeling, so she kept calling him, and she immediately reached out to the police because, like we said, that wasn't normal not to hear from him on his mother's birthday. So they wanted to do a welfare check, and she reached out to Jay's friends and a lot of things, and they also went by, well, he had a dog, they heard the dog, but it was no signs of him. Okay, so after that took place and there was no answer to the door, the police grabbed the footage, which thank God the footage that they pulled up was a surveillance camera right outside of his apartment, which is on campus, so I'm guessing that's why. And it has it at 7/8/2022, 4:01 a.m. He left his house in a gold bonnet and a nightgown and some slippers. Well, remember, he texted his mom happy birthday at 2 a.m. So this is 2 hours later. This was at 4 o'clock he left, and the police seen him walking out and then coming back 30 minutes later. So the camera shows him coming back at 4:38 a.m. He left at 4:01, came back at 4:38. So after he did that and he came back, it was normal, but then it shows him leaving again at 5:58 a.m. after coming back after that 40 minutes. Same thing, except this time he looks to be on a FaceTime call as he's leaving his door. This time I noticed on the video as well, he thought maybe he was going to be right back because he didn't lock his door, and the stuff he had on, like, he just had to be coming right back. His door was kind of cracked. Well, he left again wearing the same thing, the clothes, the gown, the cap, whatever. He also drove a black Ford Fusion with his name on the side. So after that, they pinged the locations from AT&T, and it shows Jay's iPhone at a different location after midnight until 7:30 on July 8th, which is his mother's birthday. The last two locations was, one was near Stone Park and one was near a college, which was not far from his apartment complex, but it wasn't at home. They checked his banking statements. They showed nothing but automatic payments, that came out of his credit card. There wasn't no movement, so you can rule the robbery out of there. But that was before July 7th. After that, they put out a missing person for Jimmy Lee, aka Jaylee, and then that's when the parents, the mom and the dad, he was named after his dad, so Jimmy Lee Sr. and the mom, like, he made a statement basically pleading to the public, like, hey, my son is missing, can you help me find my child? He was very loving to you all, he helped everyone, he didn't hesitate to help anybody, so, can y'all help him out, right? And it's heartbreaking to see, like, that's your son or whatever, but most kids don't even get accepted in this type of thing, like, when they come out. So to see that your parents still care about you when you're being yourself like this is a blessing. So 2 days later, after the dad after the dad puts out the, I don't know why they will put sprinkles in the street, but I keep thinking it's my tooth. Anyway, 2 days after the dad went and put out the press release of the thing, a tow company near some apartments called excuse me, the tires was like leaning. It was over the curb. It just looked like it was rushed. It was suspicious. It was like maybe Jaylee was mad or somebody dropped this off. But inside the vehicle, only his fingerprints were found, but it's nothing to wear no gloves. So that's not really just why they holding on to it. It's pissing me off. And it did have Jay on the outside of it, and it also had his credit cards and stuff in there, but not him or his phone was in that car. Now, they went and got the footage and the pictures of everything, and you could see the morning of July 8th, just before 7:30 in the morning, which I personally think Jaylee was already dead by this time, because his last message was at 6:03 off his phone. But anyway, they see the car, but they see the car traveling, but they don't, they can't see the driver at this point, but they see the car. And they keep holding on to only his fingerprints were on the steering wheel. But I mean, that's if somebody plans to kill somebody. I mean, do you think that they're gonna be that dumb to put their fingerprints in his car? Like, let's be for real. Well, after that, we unlock a new character because Jaylee had a 27-year-old friend, and applaud, clock it, commends to him, that he called the investigators, and he actually said like the morning of that morning he was actually on the phone with Jaylee, and Jaylee had told him during his break, well, during the friend break they work at a hospital, that they was on the phone when he was exiting. Remember I told y'all he was on the FaceTime? Well, this is the friend that he was talking to, and he was telling him like he was going to see a potential lover, and that he was on the way to meet up with him. A romantic interest is what they keep calling him at this time, but he didn't reveal a name to him. He just said like that they had been intimate earlier, and then the night came to like a bad end because they got into an argument, which explains why he left at 4 o'clock and he was back at 4:30. So they got into an argument, and Jaylee took his ass home, and he blocked him. Well, he told his friend like, girl, I blocked him off everything, fuck that nigga, basically. Like, yeah, I went home and I'm done with that shit. But somewhere in between all of that, he blocked him on everything, but somewhere in between all that, the nigga reached out to him again, and Jaylee was willing to give him another chance. We gonna clock this for Miss Mama, cause that's why he left out again. And RIP to Miss Jaylee, but this is why y'all have to be standing on business. And once you get that weird feeling that it ain't right, that you have to go home and you block everything just cause he reached out to you on that email, baby, or however he get himself to reach out to you, that shit is not good. Y'all need to follow y'all women intuition, or y'all intuition period, y'all first feeling, because you came home and you blocked this ass for a reason. And then you so tender, girl. How the fuck you get home at 4:30 and it only take you an hour to cave in and be right back out the door? Like, that wasn't that good, girl. But I will say the mistress man was very, yeah, so sorry, y'all know I gotta put my input in, but whatever. So the friend had said like when they was leaving out or whatever, he seen the sun in the back. This was just before 6 o'clock, so this was He said, "Have a good night, Tim." So he really was reaching, and he said, "Tim." So that's who this is. This is Tim. Or maybe short for Timothy, Timothon, Timmy, whatever, Timmy and Jimmy at this point. But he reaching and said, "Have a good night," because the dude did not text back. 10 minutes later, he still said, "Have a good night, Tim. Maybe you should have left that alone." So then Tim texts back, and Tim still didn't text back, and Jaylee wrote again at 5:37. "Yeah, now it seemed like you just trying to lure me over there to beat my ass or something. You called it." But the dude wasn't replying, so it's like, baby, you trying to nitpick, and I'm all for right, but like I said, I stand on right is right and wrong is wrong. With this being said, Jaylee, you pushing it, because like I said, the queens get really sassy, and it's gonna make sense in a minute. So the dude not replying, he didn't send him 3 messages already. So the dude finally replies and said, "You tripping. I do feel bad because we cool, so I ain't trying to end it like this." Jaylee says, "How we cool and you barely want me to text you?" He said, "I'm saying you a cool person." Okay. So at some point, Jay suggested that he wanted him to do something in return under one condition, that he would come, but he wanted to do something to him under one condition or something. Like, I don't know what it was, but it was something physical, I guess. I don't know what it was, but he basically said if he do that, then he'll come back. So the dude says at 5:45 a.m. Okay. And then Jay left his apartment by 5:58 a.m. Same shoes, same slippers, same everything. He left his apartment at 5:58, right? And he sent one final message at 6:03, and it says open. So you had to stay fairly close. Mind you, Tim is a graduate from the same university, but he's 22, and little Jaylee is 20. But why do you still stay by this campus? I'm not understanding. But he made it there by 6:03. Okay. So that's when they assumed that he was at Red Eye's residence, because he said open, and nobody's seen or heard from him since. Now let me pause. Let's dive into it, because we gotta stay tuned, we gotta stay focused, because shit gets real. We finna dive in of what happened to our girl, Miss Jaylee, since the detectives, or not the detectives, the jury, they can't seem to take heed and all this good ass evidence that I'm spitting right now. So relax, ride with me, catch up, stay tuned, and just cause I'm not understanding the fuck. So the Red Eye account, they trace back to Dirt for Diamonds podcast, which was a host from 22-year-old Mississippi graduate from the same university Jaylee attended, Timothy Harrington Jr. This is why I'm starting to get mad. Very nice looking young man, well put together. Family is very rich, very respected. His grandpa is a pastor of a local church. What a coincidence. Not saying that people cannot live in their truth, but he has a lot of business going for himself, including a movement business. He it says his help his grandfather with a lot of companies, religious stuff. He got stuff going on. Well, that Red Eye account linked to his phone. So yeah, he's well put together. His family is well respected. His papa is a pastor. He's upbringing, respectful, whatever they're trying to paint this picture of this man. But we cannot oversee the evidence that Red Eye account I say earlier that Miss Mamas was very sassy, so I get why this has happened to her, because them punks be having mouths on them, and then you a DL nigga, so it's just like he was probably scared, he was probably offended, he was probably already fighting these demons because he ain't supposed to like him. But they uncovered the original count, baby, and let me tell you what Miss Jaylee wrote to Mr. Tim. She said, "I just wanted to be able to say I had you. Thank you. Now you can go be DL again." You telling this to a man. So y'all, my alarm went off, but that cut the video, so I'm gonna make it 2. Anyways, so Miss Mama ate his ass up. I guess this is the first messages when they were arguing. Miss Jaylee said, "I just wanted to be able to say I had you. Thank you. Now you can go be DL again. It's fun to have to been the first guy. LOL." So you putting this in this man's face, like I said, he was probably scared. There's no wrong or right, but y'all know I'm always right for right, wrong is wrong, and I'm not gonna take his side just because Miss Mamas is dead. That's not me. I'm keeping it 100. Was this a reason to kill him? No, but when you're texting a DL man, that's DL for a reason, and you're putting it in his face like, I just fucked you, and I was the first guy, and he confided in you. He don't know what you finna do next. And this wasn't the only one. He sent another message after that saying, "Also, I nutted all on your floor, so you should get that up, by the way." And then he said, "Oh, and the nude was fake too. Tricks on you." So then he sent another message, Miss Mamas, and said, "Now back to block." So can you just imagine how this DL man is boiling? Like, oh, this nigga just played with me. And after that, he attempted to call him not 1, not 2, but 3 times. He better than me, because I would have blew that bitch the fuck down. And then while he is texting, I also read at the same time that Jaylee was on the way in his car at 5:56. They obtained his Google searches, and his Google searches was searching, I hate to jump ahead, but I just gotta say it, was searching how long does it take to strangle somebody. So just imagine how those 4 messages pissed him off to have already got your ass took, your booty took by a nigga that you're not supposed to be laying down with, that you're not supposed to like, that your family don't approve of, that you're hitting lifestyle. And then it's by a punk that's not humble, a punk that don't care, and then he just shit it on your ass. He just basically put it in your face like, yeah, I won, haha. Miss J, you had all absolutely right to feel like that bitch and be that bitch, but when you do that, you gotta keep the last laugh, honey. You was not supposed to go back over there, and this is why. Now, he didn't reach him because he blocked him. My bad, I'm thirsty. So that's when he reached out from the Red Eye account and simply said, "Come back." He already knew what he was gonna do, which you guys know by now. So then the morning of July 8th, after the meeting with Jaylee at his home, Tim searched on his Google account a Walmart on the Google map, and he drove to one. He was captured going in a Walmart, getting a large garbage bin, which he had no garbage in his apartment, and some duct tape. And then he returned to his apartment, y'all. His white Ford Escape was seen at various locations, driving very fast. He went to the cleaners, he went to a Baptist church, and after the Walmart trip, he was just everywhere. After that, he went switched to a moving company truck of his, and his cell phone data collaborated these movements at the time. So by mid-morning, he arrived at his parents' home in Grenada, where video footage had showed him wiping his shoes before retrieving a shovel in a wheelbarrow from their house. And nobody again. After that, investigators was like, yeah, let's go speak to Mr. Tim. So they went and spoke to him, and he denied relations, but he said that him and Jaylee, they were acquaintance, but they didn't have no type of relations. Granted, they probably just hooked up one time, I don't know, but he let him in his house. The house was very junky, it was discombobulated, but he was like calm, like that's so he gave them a volunteer rundown of July 8th. He said that he didn't do anything but pick his box truck up, and later that day he assisted with a house movement, but well, he prepared for it, but his business partner, however, contradicted that because they was like, I'm not gonna lie to the police, I don't know what this man got going on, but we had no moves scheduled for that day. Wow. So that's another thing, and I still can't believe this was a mistrial. Like, with all these evidence pointing to him, it doesn't matter if a body is not found. Like, this is bigger than the program, boom. So this is at the time or whatever, boom. He also went ahead and put out that he had been in the vicinity of the Molly Bar apartment complex that same morning, but he was just taking a jog. But this gonna take us for a shock because he knew to say that because the camera footage showed him jogging, but it didn't just show him jogging, boo. Let me get to it. They got the entrance footage. Because I be covering up where I work. So they got the entrance footage. Remember, they couldn't describe the driver because they couldn't see it. But they got the footage of the Jaylee's car entering that. This is where his car initially got towed from at 7:25 a.m. But remember, the last message was 6:03. So I feel like Jaylee walked in that house and oh boy, Tim got straight to business because he was already Googling how to strangle someone like Gabby Petito. And how long does it take for someone to die from strangulation at 5:56? And our girl left her house at 5:58. So I believe it wastes no time. This is not Jaylee driving this car because we don't see Jaylee leave. So they got the car entering at 7:25 a.m. right on the camera, which had been tracked from driving to the area of Lafayette, but not directly from the building. 9 minutes after the car pulled into the bar at 7:34, you see coincidentally Tim jogging out the apartments. He's leaving the apartments. He's not driving. He's not jogging by. He's not jogging on the road. He's leaving out jogging through the apartments. So the second interview, this nigga came with some Nike shorts and a wife beater, and he has his hand crossed. And like when you look at him now, you can see the gayness in him. He's sitting over there, he's shaking a little bit, and he's just like, he admitted to having a sexual relationship at the time. Now he admitted to them, and he was like he was with him on a night of it, but he had went for a jog near that complex. Like, that's another flag rag, another red flag. His fucking story has changed like 7 times already. Like the fuck. So around the morning where he was jogging, it was no denying his presence because it was captured on footage from the Molly apartment and weeks and months, and the investigation continued. They were tracing his cell phone data at the time, and they sent out remote locations across Oxford and Grenada, but they failed to locate Jay or any indication of where his body might be. His parents, they came out with another statement about how they falling apart. Like, the sisters spoke like nothing like this have happened. This is our worst nightmare, yada yada yada. And this is where I stopped the video and I just started reading and looking into my own things, because I just couldn't believe that the jury really came to a mistrial, just because it wasn't nobody, but it's full evidence, like stuff that's on TV, like come on now, what else could have happened to them? That's what I would have asked the jury. Like, what do y'all think happened? If there's no Jaylee, just say he didn't kill him. He still has something to do with where he is right now, right? Well, later on, Tim was arrested and he was charged with, let me see what he was charged with, for I be exact, but I get the lying. Let me see what they initially charged him with. Okay, it said he was arrested and charged with the murder. He was released on a $2,500 bond pending trial. The state said that Timothy Harrington was desperate to keep his relationship with Jaylee a secret. They believed that after the two argued, Tim feared being exposed by Jaylee, and so he coaxed him back to his home and strangled him. Indeed, Google search history from Tim's device supported this theory only moments after Jay agreed to return to his place. Tim searched how long does it take to strangle someone, and there's no weapon. Okay, so Carlos Moore, the attorney for Tim, is screaming, there's no weapon, no blood. How do we know that there's been a murder committed? I just can't defend people like this. There's no body, there's no gunshot, there's no hurt. I mean, nobody has seen a struggle or heard of a struggle. So how do we know that someone's dead? But he's still in jail. Tim Harrington did it. Do they know that Tim Harrington did it? I'm just so baffled. I don't see how he is baffled. You don't know he did it because he think he's smarter than y'all, but from the footage and the duct tape and the buying all this stuff and the wheelbarrows and the, I had to help with a moving, but it was no moving. It was no movement scheduled from the text message to the last location to the dropping the car off, and 9 minutes later he's jogging out the same apartment that the car pulled in. Like, let's be for real here. But I guess this is how the system works. I hate the system. Let's read this article, because this is what got me. A judge declared a mistrial Wednesday in this case of Sheldon Timothy Harrington Jr. in the 22. This was December 11, 2024, so 2 years after the killing of Jimmy Jaylee, a gay man who was in the LGBTQ community at University of Mississippi. Jurors said they were unable to reach a verdict over 9.5 hours of deliberation because Lee's body testified that last week the final text message from Lee's phone was sent to the account belonging to Harrington at 6:03 from a spot near Harrington's apartment. Mr. Kutch said Tuesday a cell phone tower in the part of Oxford last located any signals from Lee's phone shortly before 7:30. The police chief said a security camera showed Harrington moments later jogging out of a parking lot where Lee's car was abandoned. Exactly. On the day Lee vanished, Harrington was also seen on the security cameras behind duct tape and driving to his hometown an hour south of the Oxford. Police testified Harrington's relatives sat behind in the courtroom and Lee sat behind the prosecutors with Luther dismissed the court after the mistrial. He instructed the two groups to leave separately. Juries were chosen from another country 250 miles away. To the south, they heard 8 days of arguments and testimony. They didn't even need that long. The judge twice urged jurors to continue deliberating when they said they were deadlocked. After the third such message, Luther declared mistrial and thanked them assertive, "I've asked a lot of you." That was the latest update from 2024. But then I kept digging and I seen, because I just couldn't believe this, but did this. Damn. Well, that's crazy that I keep on saying how my phone don't ring, but yet my phone is ringing. That's only when that nigga acting right, obviously. But peep this. I was doing some research and it says February 11th, 2025. Ole Miss graduate facing new charges for hiding Jimmy Jaylee's body. My queen came back from the dead, bitch. She said, "You will not get away with this, nigga." And he's sitting on here smiling like he just lost, like he just won. Yeah, nah, baby. This ain't that for sure. Anyway, so the University of Mississippi